Hold onto your hats, 90-Day Fiance fans, because the latest happenings with Julia Trubkina have been a whirlwind of speculation, confusion, and now, a much-needed dose of clarity. If you've been glued to your screens, wondering what in the world is going on with Julia and Brandon Gibbs, you're definitely not alone. It seems like every time we think we've got a handle on their roller coaster romance, another twist is thrown our way. Just when we thought the dust had settled after their intense therapy sessions on the last resort, Julia took off on a trip outside the US, and her Instagram lit up with photos featuring a mystery man. Naturally, the internet went into a full-blown detective mode, and whispers started flying. Has Julia left Brandon for good? Is there a new man in her life? We've all been there, scrolling through social media, trying to piece together the puzzle of our favorite reality TV stars' lives. And let's be real, the absence of Brandon from these pictures was a major red flag for many. The big reveal: Julia's mystery man is family. Okay, deep breaths everyone. Before you started crafting those "Rip Brandon and Julia" memes, our favorite Russian firecracker has finally spilled the tea. Julia herself cleared up all the confusion in a heartwarming Instagram post. Sharing a series of photos with the mystery man, she playfully captioned it, "Are we look similar?" And then, in a move that melted our curious hearts, she revealed the truth. "This is my brother." Can you imagine the collective sigh of relief across the 90-Day Fiancé fandom? One photo showed them sharing a hookah, looking relaxed and happy. Another captured a dynamic moment of them jumping mid-air with the iconic Belgrade fortress in the background, a clear sign of family fun. He even popped up in a selfie with Julia and her parents, truly a family affair. Julia also acknowledged all the DMs she was getting, saying, "I received a lot of messages asking who is this?" She truly gets us and our insatiable need for answers. It's understandable why fans were a little jumpy. Julia was spotted in Belgrade, Serbia, sharing these family moments, and Brandon was conspicuously missing. The thought of Julia possibly moving on from Brandon after all they've been through was enough to send shockwaves through the fan base. But thankfully this time it was a simple case of mistaken identity and a whole lot of familial love. The lingering shadows, trust issues, and independent decisions. While the mystery man saga has been resolved, let's not forget the underlying tensions that have plagued Julia and Brandon's relationship. We all remember that bombshell revelation. Julia cheated on Brandon during a brief split before she even moved to the US. That incident, even after 5 years of marriage, has cast a long shadow, and Brandon has openly struggled to truly forgive her. It's a heavy burden for any relationship to carry, and we've seen it resurface time and again. Adding to the complexity, Julia's recent actions regarding her parents' visa interview raised a few eyebrows. She attended it without Brandon, signaling a fiercely independent decision-making process. And let's not forget the drama that unfolded on the last resort when it came out that Julia had filed for her parents' visa behind Brandon's back. Can you imagine Brandon's reaction to finding that out in a therapy session? It's a move that reportedly left him furious, and it highlights a significant communication gap and a struggle for them to be truly on the same page. These moments, while not directly related to a new romance, certainly feed into the narrative of Julia making choices that impact their shared life without Brandon's full involvement or agreement. It leaves us wondering if their individual desires are pulling them in different directions, and how they'll navigate these deeply personal yet intertwined decisions. What's next for Julia and Brandon? Hints of happily ever after? Season 9. So, the burning question remains: is Julia really done with Brandon? And what does this mean for their future on 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after? Well, put your worries aside, because Julia wants us all to know that she has not left Brandon and is not in a new relationship. Phew. Even better, she's confirmed to be returning for a brand new season of 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after. This is fantastic news for all of us who are invested in their journey, however tumultuous it may be. However, there's a little twist. Their specific storyline for Season 9 is still tightly under wraps. We haven't seen them heavily featured in any of the trailers, which could either mean they have a smaller role or, more excitingly, that they're holding back some major surprises. Will the show delve deeper into their ongoing marital issues? Will we see the resolution or further complications of the visa drama? Only time will tell. For now, it seems Julia is in a much better emotional space. After months of grieving the heartbreaking loss of her beloved pet dog, it's wonderful to see her surrounded by family and seemingly finding some peace. Here's hoping that this renewed sense of well-being will translate into positive developments in her relationship with Brandon on the upcoming season. What do you think will unfold for Julia and Brandon in the new season? Are you excited to see them back on your screens?